Okay, I make motion number 2017-23 to re-enter into public session at 4:16 p.m.
Okay, roll call, Charlie Butters, yes. Dave Genski? Yes. Linda O'Brien?
Yes. Okay. The announcement that you all came to hear, I assume, is that we will be pursuing discussions to sell an existing piece of park property, requiring that the full existing deed restrictions that currently exist on the park property will be retained and enforced forever, as long as we know forever to be. In light of that, I make a motion 2017-24 to hire up to 2 appraisers for 2 properties in the amount not to exceed $3,000.
Vote, Charlie Butters, yes. Dave Genski? Linda O'Brien?
Yes.
Can you say the personal numbers of the 2 companies?
No, we cannot.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking. At this point, we will close our meeting. We must be out of this property by 4:20.
Who are the appraisers? Who are the appraisers you're hiring?
We'll discuss, we have yet to hire them.
All right.
I'm sorry, but there's no
How mu-
public comment or questions at this point.
How much acreage?
So at this point, motion 2017-25 is to close the meeting.
What do you hope to gain by selling it?
What are we
Your taxes
selling?
are gonna go
Charlie
down?
Butters, yes. Dave Genski? Yes. And Linda O'Brien?
Yes, the meeting is now closed at 4:17.
The meeting is closed,
Give us
I'll
no
say
more
it.
information.
This is shameful.
Totally
What
shameful.
is this about?
Why are you selling?
We want to know what property.
What's
and
going
what
on?
is selling.
When we have information, we'll be able to share it with you. We have no specific information at this point that we can share.
I think it's a joke that you lead the Pledge of Allegiance and then ignore democracy the way you do. Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Shame
Really
on you.
outrageous that you won't have a public discussion about this.
What are you afraid of?
I mean,
You don't have the answers?
Charlie, you know, we sat at the trustee meeting for years and years and years. We opened, you talked, and every time you wanted to comment, we let you comment. And we opened every meeting up for comment. You have important public business, you got 50 people sitting here, and you want to close it down and walk out and not engage with the people. It's a travesty of the open meeting law.
I totally agree with Greg, and I too was member of the board of trustees when, especially you, Mr. Butters, sat in front of us and you wanted to speak. And we did make sure that you were allowed to speak. And now you have all these people, the residents, who have a right to know the public's business because it is public land. And you're not willing to sit and at least explain to them?
When we have something we can explain, we will explain.
You
You have a lot to explain, sir. You have a lot to explain.
People don't forget.
What are you gonna do with the money?
They're digging their
You
own
know,
hole.
this way, it's very shady. Very shady.
Who are you representing?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the work of none other than Judge Brindell.
Of course.
This is the result of their meeting. These are his people, appointed park board members that were appointed by the staff. I think you need to remember that. It will be a long haul. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. My name is Dave Partington. I'm a trustee with Protect Geauga Parks. We're concerned because this is the camel's nose under the tent. Soon they will be doing exactly the same thing in Geauga Park District and other park districts around. This is not going to be going away. We're going to continue to fight on this. We'll continue to research. We'll continue to try to provide you with information. I would encourage you to check out protectgeaugaparks.us and sign up for our Google list and emails and get on that list so that you can stay up with things that are going on. Okay?
Do you have any idea what they're doing?
What,
They want to let somebody from us, what exactly is happening.
okay, go ahead.
Shelley knows.
Yeah, I probably know as much as anybody. Although I have to say some of this is speculation based on what happened at the last park board meeting. But it appears that the person who owns the property at the corner of Dines and County Line, which is a 8-acre property that was in the Blackburn family, now probably is not within the Blackburn family, that person has approached the park district and wants to buy the 22 acres next door.
I couldn't hear
The
you.
conservation.
Yeah, can you speak a little louder, please?
Yes, I'm sorry. My, based on speculation to some extent, but the person who owns the 8 acres at the corner of County Line and Dines Road would like to buy 22 acres that the park district owns, that's right next door to that, to the 8 acres at the corner. So it's the next property to the east of the 8 acres. It's 22 acres, it's owned by the park district, it's been owned by the park district since 1995. It's undeveloped green space, Griswold Creek runs through it. So that person would like to combine the 8 and the 22 and have 30 acres.
To what extent,
The
what end?
conservation area, was that, who left that to Russell? And-
It was bought by the park district, it was owned by the Blackburn family.
It
They
was the
owned the entire
conservation area?
30, and they subdivided off the 8 on the corner. One of their daughters was going to build on it, and I guess that never happened. And they wanted the other 22, they live across the street. They wanted the other 22 to stay undeveloped, and so they sold that to the park district. Land acquisition funds that were raised by public levy were used to buy that land from the Blackburns. So our money was used to buy it.
Yeah.
And I'm told that if they sell it, that any money that they get would have to go back into the land acquisition fund. It can't go into their general operating fund. So they could only use that to buy more land. So I'm not sure how they think they're trading up.
But I thought that land was left to stay as a conservation area,
It-
never to be developed.
There is, well, first of all, it's zoned passive park. So the township will only allow it to be used for park purposes. And there is a restriction in the deed to the park district, but the owner of that restriction is the Blackburn family, it's not the public. So I think there are legal questions about who has a right to enforce that.
There's a house in between the corner of Dines and County Line and where this property is. There's a home there.
There is, okay, I don't know that area, perhaps the Blackburns did build on the 8 acres.
I'm not
I
sure
don't
who
know.
owns that.
No.
That's not what they're talking about. You're talking, that house is there, and Beck Farm Preserve is on further east.
No, we're to the west of
You're
Beck Farm.
talking to the west of that, and that's where Griswold Creek runs down and all that lovely stuff in there. And that's what they're talking about.
Isn't it in the valley there? Yet the part of the land they're talking about is in the
Yes.
valley, but up on the hill, there's a home there.
Yes, but that's on beyond the park
That's
area.
out of the park area.
But they have signs.
Griswold
right
Creek.
across the park well that say Chaga Park, you know,
No,
where-
this is not Chiaga
This is
Park,
not
this is
Chiaga
Russell
Park.
Township Park. It's not owned by the county, it's owned by Russell Township Park.
It says it's Russell Township Park, and you need permission from the trustees to even walk on it.
If you look at Dines Road on Geauga Access on the auditor's side, you'll see that there's a number of properties on Dines Road that have different owners. Some are the Geauga Park District, some are Russell Park District, but the properties I think that you're looking at here is one's a 20 acre and one's a 7.8 acre. So if you look on Geauga Access, you can see which parcels that you'd be talking about. If we're correct on, if
It's
you just said
right
two
at the
parcels,
corner
they
of
should be
Dines
called
and
two.
County Line.
Right.
The corner property and then the next property east adjacent to the corner property.
And that's the 8 acres, sort of
The 8 acres is on the corner and the
And it-
22 is just east on
a
Dines.
rectangle, a narrow rectangle down to the Griswold Creek area.
Right.
Okay.
And Shelley, why do you even think that it's those two parcels? What information do you have that suggests that?
At the last park district meeting, there was a man there who said that he owned the parcel on the corner and that he wanted to buy the adjacent parcel. So that's where that information
Was
was.
that Keith Reeves, his name is on the property?
His name is on the property, I know that, but that is, this man's name is Paul Keebler, who I believe he lives in the township. I've never met